Hello and welcome live from the Zero Project Conference 2024 at the Vienna International Center. My name is Anna. I'm the Director for Business Partnerships and Operations within the Zero Project team. Today I'm here in a slightly different role. I'm organizing and coordinating all the young voices here at the ZeroCon, and I'm extremely happy to finish today our mini-series of fireside chats of young voices. I'm very happy that Gavin is here today with me. I will start, Gavin, with a short introduction, and then we will dive right away into our interview. So, some points about Gavin. Gavin is a young para-athlete from Scotland. He's a double world champion in the para-athletics discipline of frame running. This is really extremely impressive, Gavin. And he's also currently studying for an honors degree through the Open Universities, specializing in politics and international relations. And you're also working part-time as a project officer for World Ability Sports. So we have already understood, Gavin, that you really have a lot of different talents, and you're quite a busy man. So let's start with our first question. So, Gavin, what were your experiences at school, and what were some of the challenges that you faced?
Throughout my junior and senior education, I attended mainstream schools. In my year, I was the only student with a physical disability, so I was determined not to be treated any differently from my peers. This included not being left behind. I wanted to participate in everything and, most importantly, have the same opportunities. For the majority, I did. The support I received from my schools was brilliant, and they were very supportive of me and my goals. However, as I progressed in school and started my exams, it became clear I would face significant challenges because I did not fit nicely into the national exam system, as I cannot physically speak or write clearly. I had to do all my exams digitally or use an assistant to help me with mathematical and scientific drawing. Initially, I was up for the challenge of doing my exams, but I soon realized barriers were preventing me from reaching my full potential at school. Most of my exams ended up being over 7 hours long, and I sometimes would have 3 exams in 1 week. It got to the point where my school put a bed in my exam room because I was getting so exhausted. I know I could have done better with my exams in a different environment with less stress. In my final year, they did allow me to be awarded grades based on assignments rather than exams. Otherwise, my exams would have overlapped. I would like to see this solution being used more often for people in a similar situation to me, not just to address a logistical problem. My school did everything they could to make the situation easier for me. A lot of the time, I was offered options to how to approach my exams, and I felt very much involved in the decision making, but the reality was they had to work within a very rigid system, a system that was not prepared for my outside of the box ideas, such as condensed papers and being assessed in a more practical way. Even if they weren't possible, I was told the conversation could not be opened up to think about solutions that addressed the challenges I faced. My whole exam experience left me with low confidence and a feeling that my opportunities had been limited due to my extra challenges.
Thanks a lot, Gavin, for all this information. And so my second question is more about your sports career. So how has your sporting experience helped you in your educational journey?
This is an interesting question.
Thank you.
Because when I was younger, I wouldn't have considered being involved in sports actually playing a part in my education. It was always something I have mostly done outside of school. Growing up, to me, frame running was just a fun activity that helped keep me active and enabled me to participate in competitions. It is only when I have gotten older I have realized my experiences in sport have had a massive influence in my education.
Could you put the volume a little bit down? Then it's better. Just a small technical issue. We're solving it immediately. Okay.
I first got involved with frame running when I was 5
Thank
years
you,
old
Gavin.
and started competing at the age of 9, so I have grown up with it in my life. I consider myself very fortunate because finding a passion at a young age has changed the course of my life. It has helped me to focus on what is possible rather than the challenges or limitations I encountered in other aspects of my life. Frame running is one of very few sporting activities I can do independently, so I love the freedom and adaptability it provides me. I wouldn't have the chance to run otherwise. In addition, it has given me the opportunity to achieve things I never thought possible and build friendships from all over the world in an understanding environment. The latter has been really important for me socially. Being the only one in my situation at school was very isolating, but I knew through sport I had found this whole community which I could relate to and share experiences with. Being involved in sports has opened so many doors for me, beyond my training and competitions. For example, I wouldn't be here today sharing my experiences if it wasn't for the communication skills I have developed through my ambassador work for frame running. It has also shown me what a person-centered approach looks like, where my needs can be met. I have been able to take those lessons with me as I have entered further education. I will use another example here. When I was younger, I used to think I would study at a physical university after finishing school and complete my degree in 4 years because it seemed to be the natural path if you wanted to go to university. It's now been almost 5 years since I left school, and I'm still studying for my degree through online study. I still have 1.5 years to go before I graduate. If I had not had my experiences in sports, I think I would have found this situation very difficult because I would have been still holding on to the idea I could not fall behind my peers. However, sport has taught me you can still reach the same destination as you imagined, and you can create your own path. Taking this approach in further education has afforded me more opportunities and given me more balance between interests alongside my training and studying. I work part-time for World Ability Sport, which is an international disability sports organisation. I wouldn't have had this opportunity to go into employment and start work if I'd been studying full-time at a physical university.
Thanks a lot for sharing all this personal experience that you had, Gavin. So you talked about this person-centered approach in your last answer. So how important is person-centered environment in education for you?
I think they are very important. I believe a good person-centered environment that meets the needs of students has the ability to unlock their potential. Students are also much more likely to enjoy learning if they feel understood rather than making them fit into a system which is not capable of adapting. I really hope we can continue to make our schools and exam systems, whatever they are set up, as accessible as possible for disabled people. I am aware I represent only one experience, and I know everybody will have a different experience. So it is imperative that we listen to all experiences to figure out what works well and what needs improving.
That's exactly also what the Zero Project would like to achieve. So, Gavin, finally, as a person with lived experience, what advice do you have for people who are creating person-centered environments?
By wanting to create a person-centered environment, you already have a great starting point. Recognizing the difference that they can make to an individual's education experience as opposed to a one-size-fits-all approach is really important. Hopefully this fireside chat has reinforced this message and how positive impact can also come from outside the formal education environment. in my case, it came from my sport. My main pieces of advice would be to take the time to understand the needs of your students, to learn the type of environment that is most appropriate for them. Then you can work out what is possible within your system and what may need to change. Systems are unlikely to change overnight, but they never will if we don't challenge thinking. A final piece of advice I would give is don't be afraid to be creative with solutions.
Yeah.
What might at first look an unlikely solution might be just what is required. Doing this fireside chat has been a brilliant experience. I have loved attending the conference, and this has topped it all. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Gavin, for sharing your story, for giving us all this very valuable advice. And I think we will continue this conversation, but unfortunately, as usual, all these interviews, the time is always too little. And thanks a lot for coming to the conference. Thanks a lot for having been part of the Young Voices. You did a great job here on stage, and I hope we will see you around very soon again. Thanks a lot to the audience here in the room, but also thanks a lot to our online viewers. Stay tuned. There are other fireside chats coming up, and I hope you're all enjoying the Zero Project Conference 2024. And I say hello and goodbye to everyone, and goodbye. Have a nice day. Ciao.